Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We have the Tom and Dan business expert, social media business influencer.
Yeah, Shark.
Lover of Costco.
Yeah, lover of Costco. Yeah, I saw that.
I'm going to update my bio. This is too good.
Person secretly angry at Subway for not telling any of us that they put the sweet teriyaki onion sauce on the shelves now. You can buy it.
Still not over that.
Yeah, very. But ladies and gentlemen, we love this guy. It is our very good friend, Jesse Wolfe.
How you doing, Jesse?
Hello, guys.
And by good friend, I mean we see you 3 times a year.
Yeah, but we live 10 minutes apart.
I know. It's terrible.
So, Jesse, let's talk some small business, because this past Saturday was Small Business Saturday.
And we are a small business, and the greatest thing you can do as a small business is completely forget that it's Small Business Saturday, which is exactly what the F we did.
It's our holiday. Whoops,
Yes.
what was that?
Great job, Dan.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, I feel like all small business is ruined by Amazon. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there because I just feel like the majority of the population is sitting at home looking at their Amazon, and I'm like, I just want someone to deliver this to me, and I'm not going to go to this local small business.
You know why? Because that's some BS.
Yeah. And they're like, what? It's closed on Sundays. You're mad at it, and you're like, I'm just going to order it. Anyway. So, Small Business Saturday. And of course, that's for everybody to go out and support their small business around their neighborhoods. Which, when people say that, though, I think sometimes, I don't think people understand what small businesses are.
Yeah.
So when you say Small Business Saturday, I do think that the majority of people think, I don't need any of your Etsy crap.
Right,
but that's not what it is.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I do think that, though. I think everybody thinks like,
craft fair,
Burn
farmers
Pest,
markets.
Burn Pest, right?
Yeah.
Burn Pest, we love them. They kick so much ass at our, business. We're a small business, but I'm going to use Burn as an example. Yeah. Small business, family owned.
Yeah.
It's like 4 guys.
Like
8 guys at the most. They are the epitome of small business. Check them out. If you need pest control, boom. There you go. Small Business Saturday.
They have gift cards for Christmas.
A bucket brigade junk removal.
Small business. Perfect.
Owned by firefighters. Viking locks.
Yeah, Viking locks. These are like the small businesses that I feel like really need the love.
But it's funny because by definition, I think it's under like 5 or 10 million revenue is considered small business. And you got to think like there's a lot of family businesses out there that do a couple $1 million a year, and like on paper you're like, wow, they're millionaires, but it's like we all know the take home on that. It's a sprouting business that's paying people, impacting the economy and stuff. And Orlando's full of like some really cool, bigger small businesses, if you will. There's actually, and I've never got a chance to meet the guy, but I think it's called like mudwater tackle or mudwater fishing or something like that.
Okay.
Mud stick maybe, I forget. Anyways, but he's
I know what a mud stick is.
Yeah.
I was dropping off mud sticks all morning.
I will say, proceed with caution. Googling mud stick. Okay, I'm not responsible for that one. But
I think our good friend Mike Busey has a mud stick that he uses.
Come on,
he has to break them up.
Another small business.
He has to break them up before they go down.
So, let's talk about because Daniel brought it up with Etsy. There is a point where it's too small, where it's hard because. And
you're selling like Casey Musgraves deeper well earrings that are handmade for $75 a piece. That's not a small business.
Sounds like the wife getting those for Christmas.
No,
that was oddly specific.
Yeah, it was oddly specific. It was. They're for me. They're for me.
They were actually for me.
Yeah. Your garage sale isn't a small business.
It's not.
Selling stuff on eBay.
No.
That's
your
not...
buddy's quote apparel company. Not a small business. It's not. He made 50 T-shirts. That's not a small business.
Yeah. But it kind of like people like to say, I got my own small business. And
normally they say I have an apparel company. That's the biggest one is T-shirts.
Or the one I always get is, what do you do? I'm an entrepreneur. It's like, but what do you entrepreneur at? It's like, well, you're not, you have an entrepreneurial spirit, you know what I mean? But
also, most people that are busted by our friend Tizzy on like TikTok, for being racist, when asked what they do, they'll normally be like, I'm an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur. Great. It gives a great
normally
light to the
they
rest
say
of us.
that.
Yeah, the entrepreneur spirit will not get you very far.
Yeah. You have to, and it's so funny because,
Spirit.
I talk to a lot of UCF students. I go up there and I coach the kids and
I
stuff.
talk to a lot of UCF girls.
Yeah.
What?
That's fine, actually.
It's totally fine.
It's not fine.
Yeah.
But actually, I believe the society celebrates.
Yeah, really.
Co-ed?
Yeah,
And is there coaching going on amongst that kind of
I mean, there's not really. I'm more of a
coaxing?
I'm more of. What do they call? I'm a mentor.
Okay, I like that.
I'm a mentor.
I like that.
So you do a lot of talks at UCF?
So, there's a lot of people, everyone's always afraid of sharing ideas, right? Like, oh, someone's going to steal my idea. I could sit here and probably give you my next 5 ideas. The odds that someone's actually going to run with it. I mean, that's where the rubber meets the road. There's a lot of hobbyists, and it's okay to have a side thing. I make a little extra cash slinging things on Etsy, but I see so many damn good ideas on Etsy that never leave Etsy. And, that's really important because you could take that really awesome idea or thing you're making on there, and you can make it the next step where it becomes a formalized real business. And I personally, I hate Etsy. Etsy really has a chokehold on a lot of those sellers. But a lot of them don't understand that next step, or they copy each other. 90 Ways to Sunday. I don't know how many of those tumblers printed I've seen on there.
Well, it's amazing that you can bend a piece of wire to look like somebody's pet.
Yeah, yeah.
But where it gets really amazing is when you can pump out 10,000 of those out of China.
Yeah. Well, but here,
you know what I mean? Like seriously,
there's something in between
scaling
that,
it up.
So there's a brand called
Doc Johnson.
No.
I'll do it all day if you don't say anything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a sickness.
This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
What the heck's the name of this brand? Anyways, so what they do is they make these. That's a great brand.
They're great pickles.
They make a bag that you could custize like monograms and stuff.
Okay.
Everyone does it, constantly on Etsy. But they built a $40 million brand off this thing, and the difference was they built a brand, right? So that's the key that a lot of small businesses kind of tend to forget. You're just a business owner when you're running your little thing as it's budding, but you really have to start getting out of your business or get out of your business and on top of your business, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of day to day we find ourselves, we're the marketing person, we're the salesperson, we're the manufacturer, which is great, right? But there's that bridge that's really hard to grow out of where you have to go, I have to take a pay cut. Right, I can't keep all the money for myself, right? As a solo entrepreneur, and I'm gonna have to eat crow or work 2 jobs to pay someone else to come down and do my marketing to let my business grow to the next level, right? And then you start taking those haircuts, and that's the sacrifice a lot of the small guys just don't want to do, or it's really uncomfortable, it's really hard, and entrepreneurship is not easy. Running a small business is not the easiest, but if you want to grow it, to the next level, those are those moments of uncomfortability you have to get, comfortable with,
So Jesse.
Sorry. Mine's real quick.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
would you say to a small business who has people like you and listeners giving them great ideas all the time, but they just don't want to take the advice? Because I feel like that's where we're at.
Yeah. It's kind of like anything.
Because
right?
honestly, we know best.
Well, you want to lose weight? You'll lose weight.
I do want to lose weight.
Well, no, I'm just saying, right? Like you want to eat healthier. You can lead a horse to the water, but
Right.
you can't force it to drink.
I know.
And honestly, I get calls weekly from people. Of all sizes, from people doing $200,000 to $200 million. I kid you not. And it's like save our brand, save our company. And it's pretty repetitive. I pop the hood on these businesses quickly.
Yeah.
I go through them and I'm like, it's A, B, and C almost every time. They're hemorrhaging cash. They're overspending on certain things they shouldn't be. Or, small business style, it's like, dude, you're in your business every day. You need to get out of it and on top of it. And I always try to tend to look at a business like driving a one of those big cargo ships, right? The captain's not down in the cargo hull, like looking at ratchet traps. He's got a team that does that. He's not
You've
dropping
never
anchors.
seen Captain Tom.
Yeah. that's a different cargo hull.
I could put my cell phone on FaceTime and just put it in front of the steering wheel, and then I go down there and fix the engine.
It's 2 Tom.
It's too dumb.
Double the time.
And then I'm just looking where I'm going as I fix it. I can do it all, Jesse.
Okay. And this is a prime
This
example.
comes back to taking not taking the advice, right?
Yeah. I appreciate the ingenuity. Okay, that's very creative. God forbid you lose reception. The boat is just hitting everything.
Well, you gotta take chances in small business. Okay, this is a perfect segue into something that I have thought a lot about, and I want to get your opinion on this,
There's
Jesse.
nothing he hasn't thought a lot about.
I'm intrigued.
Daniel and I have been, owners.
Did you tell him I want to buy a Jeff's Bagel Run?
yeah, that's a good business. But owners of T&D Media for over a decade and has been running successfully.
Which massively I mean, that's a big deal.
Thank you.
Now, when you say successfully, that's subjective as well. And this is where I want to talk to you about something that I have come to realize, and it may not be the right. Small business is a subjective business if it's always small, right? And that my point being is like I find myself telling myself, don't think like big business. You're a small business. Do what big business can't do. And so one of the things that I used to think all the time is the success is making the most money possible, the most revenue possible, and so that's the mantra of a big business, right? That's what they live by.
Yeah,
that's a corporation's main goal: most revenue possible at all times.
Right.
And that's what they live by. But as a small business, you don't necessarily need to think like that, because what could happen is if you think like that, then you're kind of a slave to that mantra of big business. And sometimes making the most money possible is not necessarily what you're in this for. If you're in this for more than just building this business for pure monetary reasons, it could be building a job that you want.
Well, right. And that's a lifestyle
or
business,
a community,
right?
or
and there's something special about that, like acknowledging where do I want to ultimately be with this business? Because at a lifestyle business, like let's take a landscaping company, right?
Yeah,
you can make $200-300 grand a year with you and another guy, running around doing landscaping and simple, things like that, pretty easy. And you're making a good living. It's easy. You're only managing one person.
Lingerie landscape.
Well, you know what? HOA might not approve, but I'm into it.
Yeah. We're in and out. It's quick.
By easy, I think Jesse means that it's not. You don't have to think out of the box.
Run, right?
Obviously the work is hard, but you may like that.
Yeah,
and you're thinking like I know a lot of landscapers.
Yeah, definitely not easy work. Yeah.
No.
They easy business to run.
They like the exercise of it. They like being outside.
Yep.
They like
make their own hours, do what they want. They're their own boss.
Yep.
They actually enjoy the landscaping part of it, and then you're right, and it's like you're building a lifestyle business, and a lot of times that people forget about that, and then they.
And it's okay. Like, I mean, those are beautiful businesses to run. Yeah. There's a lot of mechanic shops that run like that. That are, again, it's not easy work, but it's an easier business to run because once you start going, let's talk landscape again. Hey, I want to grow this thing into $1 million revenue. Well, you're going to have a couple trucks. You're going to have a couple mowers. You're going to have 5 to 10 employees. Well, now you've got maintenance on equipment. You've got employees to manage. People are calling off. I mean, that's
drug problems. Yeah. Oh my God, the drug problems.
Well, is that with the lingerie?
Lingerie landscapers? Oh my God, they would come to us with drug problems.
This reminds me of an old parable that I'm going to screw up.
I love it when you screw up parables.
Yeah.
So there's a Mexican fisherman.
Oh, this is just a racist joke. I like that.
That there was a businessman saw this Mexican fisherman on vacation, and he was going out in the morning, catching some fish, coming back, and then having some beer with some friends, and then selling the fish and spending time with his family. And then the businessman goes to the Mexican fisherman and says, hey, I see you're only catching like what you need for the day. You can turn this into a bigger business, start catching more fish, getting more employees to catch other fish, start a fishery, blah, 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 build this business up, and over the next 20 years, then you could sell this business and then be a rich, and then all you have to do all day is fish and have beers with your friends and spend time with your family. Yeah. And he's like, I'm already doing that now.
Yeah.
And so what?
But I think he said it more like it was like a cooler way, right?
Yeah,
he would have been like,
well, he said it like a Mexican
I'm already
fisherman.
doing that. And this is the greatest thing I have. One day you will know what true love is.
Yours sounds a little cartelish, actually.
It does. It does. Like, well, I live in nothing but stereotypes.
I feel like he's very successful. He's fishing for non-fish fish.
Everything that comes out of my mouth sounds just like a TV stereotype.
Yeah.
Everything.
So, Jesse, have you seen an example like that where someone, you look at someone's business and you're like, man, you've gotten too big or to the point where this is not the job you set out for it to be, and you don't want to do this, and you were actually happier, smaller.
Yeah.
And
you know what it sounds like? It sounds like salesman to manager. Like when my dad went to be a manager, and he was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
He's like, I can make just as much money or more being a salesman, and I love it.
Servers and bartenders say that all the time. A bartender would get, be the general manager. Like, this job stinks. Like the bartender job, I enjoyed that.
I get to talk to people. I make I have a little more freedom.
You don't have any responsibility, right? Like as a salesperson, that's a great example. As a salesman, it's just you. It's your show. You talk to your customers. You're not managing anybody. You're your own show. And going back, it just depends on what you want to do, because like what I do these days that I end up getting into is, I'll take basically a small business. Either I build them or, I meet somebody that's like having problems or struggling, and we'll team up and we'll grow that thing to an exit, right? And that's the path they want to do. And, they're not always, fun rides. A lot of times they're real messy and bloody, and, they get bumpy because we scale them pretty quick, But it's fascinating because you said something earlier that, like, a lot of big businesses, corporate companies, right? They focus on profitability and revenue, right? Mainly revenue, like a lot of times with, profitably being right next to it. The way we scale, because like we're all small business, everything we do, we sit in this super fun place of disruption, right? And that's like what you guys have here too. You guys are considered a small business, but by revenue, you guys are doing great. Like for especially like your payroll to revenue, et cetera. Like you guys are in a good place. You guys are in this, like what I call the sweet spot of disruption.
Oh, that means you're destroying your business as it's successful.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
That's what I feel like I do every day. I come in here and Tom builds it up a little bit, and then I'm like, got to tear that down.
Yeah, it's getting too big.
I got to tear that down.
But you get in there, you get a chance to where you guys can move faster, and this firsthand, than the bigger media companies ever could. You guys could try new things, test new things, hit new trends faster, and that's what makes all of my brands that we build valuable. Because like when we go and we sell off to, I don't know, Mondelez or one of the big boys, Campbell Soups, those guys are the big VCs and private equity firms. They buy us because we're hot. They buy us because we're growing like crazy. We're the cool kids. And, their brands that they're wrapping us up under, they're dormant. They're legacy brands. They do well, but they can't innovate that fast. Like look at Oreo, for instance. How many Oreos? They put out new product, but it's like 5-10 new cookies a year. That's it. One of the brands I'm deep in right now, we're putting out almost 40 new items a quarter. You know what I mean? So like we can move faster, we can move quicker, and for us that's fun.
Keeps it interesting.
It does, and we piss in their Wheaties. That's what we do. And it makes the big guys go nuts because they can't keep up with us. And that's how you start seeing a lot of this new innovation come along the way. And that's like you see brands like Rayo's get acquired and things like that because they don't want the store-bought brands, or they don't want the, whatever, just pick one of the many brands on the shelf that have been there forever, the Prego, for $3.99. They want a little more premium. So going back, and this is another fascinating thing going off that landscape thing. This is one of the biggest pieces of advice I always try to give people. As a small business, you have to acknowledge that you cannot compete with a big business. Okay?
Yeah.
And not in the sense of like you can't get up there and take them down, but coming out of the gates, if their item is $4.99, you can't be $4.99. You don't have the volume, you don't have the profit margins, you don't have the machine that makes that business. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So like, going back to like the fishing guy story, right? Let's talk like a restaurant. Is it, easier to run, you get one location, okay? Is it easier to open a location that slings tacos for $2 a taco, or go to Kabuki Sushi, where your average check value is $400. Which one is going to throw off way more profit and be easier to run? And by easier, not the actual physical day-to-day work, but profitability. You're not struggling for cash, keeping the lights on. You know, the people that come in there, and that's why if you could do a steakhouse right, they kill it. If you do Kabuki Sushi right, for instance, Henry knows. I mean, he's doing
that place rules, dude.
Oh, dude!
Oh my God, it's so good.
And he crushes it. He provides a beautiful experience. It's delicious, high-end food.
You can take your family, like it's like Maisie's adult enough to go there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
But you know, he's clutch with
so good.
He's clutch with 2 locations. That's all he needs.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's killing it. Whereas if I have 2 taco shops, okay, I'm gonna need to make. I'm gonna have to open 10 of those for me to finally be able to sit back and be like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's where if you look at like a kabuki to like a taco shop, you know, and I use tacos, hot dog shop, whatever, something that's just trying to compete with like, you know, your good price point food items. You're gonna have a lifestyle business, not by choice, but because that's all it can throw off for you to live off of. Whereas kabuki has these huge check margins. You know, and again, it's an expensive product, but you're also going for a premium experience.
Sure.
So I try to tell, like, anybody that does this, even landscaping. Like, if I was going to open a landscape company today, I wouldn't go compete with your everyday, you know, $100 cut. I'd go try to be a boutique, you know, high end.
The chat room was talking about there is a boutique, and somebody lay it back in the chat room so I can get the details. But I guess their hook is that they come to your house and everything's electric.
Oh, see, I dig that.
We're quiet.
Dude, I dig that. In charge of premium.
I think that's their thing. And I'm like, oh, God, that's a great idea.
That's a brilliant idea.
For nerds and stupid moms that would love to pay for that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And
dude,
oh, my God.
Even for me as a guy, I work home a ton, right? Our landscaper, I mean, you know, Tuesday morning, bah, you know,
the blower.
Yeah. I mean, you know, now that that's mentioned, that's funny because that's something that even interests me just for that one day a week of like, if it's $75 more, I don't even care.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about that. The electric blower, not that much more quiet than the gas blower.
No,
I have an electric blower.
I have a little electric blower, and it is so loud I can't use it.
Yeah. I mean, the gas
I still
blower,
get the mulch ricocheting off my windows.
it's not quiet by any means. So back to like advantages small businesses have that they often don't think of. I've thought about this as well. Big business and giant corporations are terrified of getting sued, and basically they put a lot of effort into just making sure they don't get sued, because that's a big problem for them, because they're a big business. They have money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then if you have a lot of money, then your likelihood of getting sued becomes higher. So then they try to protect themselves from that.
Look at McDonald's. I mean, like, you know, everybody's gaming McDonald's to get sued, or Walmart, or Publix, whatever.
Yeah. But then that mentality spreads around to even small business, where they get in their mind worried about getting sued.
Yeah.
And then it's like, dude, no one's gonna sue you. You don't have any money.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand how lawyers work. They're gonna look at this small business and be like, "There's no money here. I'm not gonna take this."
And once you start talking to lawyers, I mean, that's the first thing you're gonna say is, "Cool, you're gonna sue landscape company ABC. It's in an LLC. You're not gonna get anything." You know, like, I mean, so like
they don't have anything.
No, you know. I mean, that's where. I mean, you guys know. I mean, you've done this for 10 years. You know, it's like you got to take a risk. You know, and just
I thought you meant 10 years, have nothing. Yes, we do know that.
You have a very nice scooter. Okay, I pass it 3 times a week.
You guys know 10 years, and you've got nothing to show for it.
Very successful.
Yeah. But and I'm sure you've seen that before, where people are like, "Oh, we can't do this. We're gonna get sued." And you're like, "Dude, no one's gonna sue you. You're like, you have to take chances."
And I'm not. And listen.
I mean, you can get sued, but the likelihood is way less.
We've gotten lawsuits over the years, you know what I mean, and we've never had one go past the initial threat, you know what I mean, and they've all been over just randomness, you know what I mean. So, I'll never forget the first time I got one. I was fetal position, corner of my office.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's very scary. You know, but now I get served, you know, if I get served a lawsuit for anything, I mean, it could be, I mean, my God, we've seen all sorts of things. The most recent one was a name claim that they said we got too close to theirs. It was actually over, we actually got served by Champagne, France, because we used the word champagne, because it's got to come from Champagne, France. to be named
I've
champagne.
heard that.
Yeah. So,
which I always thought was ridiculous.
oh,
and they
dude, we
never-
did too.
It's
So-
like very Super Bowl-y.
Yeah, oh,
you
dude,
know?
bro. So
Yeah.
we get this letter at our company, and my co-CEO is like, should we worry about this? Like a country suing us, basically. And I'm like, that's a new one. I've never been sued by a country or a city in said country.
Yeah.
And it was basically a cease and desist. But we weren't making champagne. It was a product that accompanies champagne. So I was like, have our lawyer send back a letter. I mean, this is what we do now. It's like, screw them, send it back. You know what I mean? If you want to fight us, let's,
Yeah.
But they're not going to. They just bark to see if you back down. We haven't heard back from them. It's been fine.
Yeah. And,
but-
and most of the time it's because it's cheap to send a letter. Once you start the
Oh, yeah.
$500 an hour attorney,
Yeah.
the businesses don't want to. They just send a letter.
Letter's $250, baby. In fact, I got a buddy who started, and I don't recommend doing this, but it was hysterical. He started his entire company and this is years ago, back when we were all in college, by basically, using trademarks he didn't have deals with. And it wasn't because he didn't want to get the deals. They just wouldn't listen to him. So, he would sell the product, get a cease and desist, stop selling it. And he would just go through it all, Marvel, all of it. And eventually he actually, I forget the brand, one of the big ones sent him a cease and desist. And he's like, oh, sweet. Their marketing team's on here. Reached out to him. And they actually were like, oh, we'll do a deal with you. And that's how he got his first deal. His
Really?
first licensing agreement.
He just wants to get the cease and desist.
It was the crazy, because after the third one, he's like, wait a minute. Who's sending this, right? So he almost used it as a tool. That's how he got his first license.
That's clever.
It was really smart.
That's really clever.
I don't recommend it. I'm not giving the legal advice.
It's a different way of going about it.
It was smart. Because, again, they're just like, hey, stop doing this. They know you're a small business.
Yeah.
It's different if, Target starts selling unlicensed Disney stuff. They're going to blow $10 million of, product out in a week.
Right.
But a small business, Disney just wants you to stop. You know what I mean? Try, for the most part. Now, I have seen Disney start cracking down recently. That's a different story. But, that's how he got his first licensing deal. So, creativity, man. Yeah.
Back to kind of what small business is and how valuable just the name of calling something a small business is. And we were talking about this a little before the show about big business kind of buying medium business or small business.
It's a trend
and
right
then
now.
and then just keeping it the same, all brands and everything, and just running it, reorganizing it to the way the big business does, and then owning this brand and then keeping it in particular place as a small business.
Right.
And I've seen it with doctor's office, with service companies, and it seems like happening a lot.
Where I originally saw it, though, was in foodstuffs. You would see bigger companies buy that Granny's cookies, right?
Yep.
And then they'd be like, this is Granny's cookies. And it is, but it's all propped up by hundreds of millions of dollars. You know what I mean? That's where I remember even as a kid seeing it, and I was like, it's not a home-baked item. This is all
being
just
in
BS.
food, it sucks, dude, because I see the back end. I mean, every single day of these brands that are growing, and they're doing it right. You know what I mean? And we watch, these, and I know a lot of the, the hot companies right now, and then you see them get acquired, like the one that was pretty painful was Rayo's to Campbell's Soup Bottom.
Okay.
And it sucks because they claim, oh, we're not going to change it. We're not going to change it. They do.
Yeah.
And it sucks because
it's not as good.
No, that's why they grew. And that's what kills me about these big brands that buy these guys. It's the reason Rayo's grew so well and so fast, it was quality. It was not the cheapest sauce. It was the most expensive sauce in the whole aisle. And there was many meetings I've walked into those grocery stores, and they're like, your product's too expensive. And I'm like, no, it's not. Then I go sell it online. We do millions of dollars of it a year. And they come back, a year later. I'm like, oh, God, we need you. Sorry about that. Oh, we proved you're right, because people want quality. And and right now it is worse than ever because your Prego, for instance, it's no longer cheap. It's $5 a jar where it used to be $2.50.
Yeah.
So you might as well buy the $8 Rayos because you're not that far apart. And at least it's good, quality. It was good quality sauce.
Yeah. Well, it's about the same now.
It really is.
You might as well make your own, I feel like.
Yeah.
But that is where it goes back to your number one goal is revenue and increasing revenue. And then the big business CEO Tom comes in and he's like, you're using real tomatoes? Use ketchup.
Literally, yeah.
It's a half the price. Yeah. And then my job
more
is
sugar, more sugar.
Yeah.
And then my job is secure because then I can show the
you saved a ton of money.
The investors that I saved the company $3 million. But I'm just trying to keep my job for another 5 years. And then that's where the big business machine
it all stems back to Wall Street, right? They've got earnings they've got to report.
Yeah.
The shares can't dip. So they buy Rayos, to tuck it in their portfolio. And that's what sucks. And the problem with where we're at as like in the food space specifically, we'll get a brand doing $40-50 million in revenue, and it's fun and it's crazy. And all of a sudden we start getting knocks on the door, and it's two people. We want to buy you, and we're either going to buy you, or if you say no, this is going to hurt. And then, so like with my hummus company, that's what happened to that brand, because we were fighting Sabra, and Sabra's owned by Pepsi.
Oh, Lord.
Unlimited money.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, we said, so they come along, they start knocking around, checking us out, because we were the cool kids. We were making all kinds of dents. And then we even kind of tormented them a little more by going into other categories. Like we were the original innovator of going like chickpea into new salad dressings.
The aquafaba.
The plant-based mayo.
Yeah, nobody was doing a plant-based mayo before. Like you guys did it with the chickpea.
Yeah.
And
we had a bunch of innovation teed up behind that, like going into like the chips with the chickpeas and stuff. And the whole point of that was to protect ourselves from Sabra, who was coming in. So like there was one point where our yearly marketing budget was like $2 million, which was a ton of money for a small business.
Sure.
That's a ton of money, and that's to put things on sale, to promote it, within the stores, etc.
Ask us what ours is.
Yeah, what is yours?
I couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
Tom got real quiet. Tom's like $33.
There's a strategy behind keeping everything secret.
Yeah, nice. But going back, so ours was $2 million for the year, and Sabra was spending $22 million a month against us. So like in the North Carolina, like the Carolina market alone, they were doing buy one, get 4 tubs free. So they can afford to buy, because the grocery store doesn't give those away.
Right.
We as manufacturers have to pay for that.
That's on you.
Yeah, so in order to not lose their market share, they were just making sure consumers kept eating Sabra. And I mean, that's a bloodbath, to try to keep up with. You
can't.
Yeah, it was rough, but you get creative, and you get in there and you kind of figure out new ways to fight them and beat them. And ours was, again, being a small business, we were nimble. I knew right away that when we started seeing the writing on that wall, because it was me and another guy who were another small hummus company.
Yeah.
And it was called Hummusphere, I think is what it was called. Great branding, cool product. It was like, kind of barbecue themed hummus, if you will. So I was like, oh my God, panic. Like we can't keep up with this spend. So what did we do is we started creating new products, because I knew I could bring a product to market faster than what PepsiCo could. PepsiCo takes like 2 years to bring a product to market.
Yeah, they pull the factory, shut everything down.
Literally.
It's just too long.
Just to get the idea clear.
Turning a cruise ship.
Oh, dude, exactly.
Brand new branding.
Yeah. And we're down there, in our dinghy, doing donuts,
Yeah.
So that's why we ended up doing the salad dressings, because we knew they couldn't keep up with our innovation, pipeline. And that's how we were able we weathered the storm and got through the other side, and Hummusphere unfortunately didn't. They try to compete them, just, apples to apples. And that's what you just have to do, is realize who you're going against and, kind of plan.
It's a pick your battles kind of a thing. Is Odang still I think they closed, didn't they?
So from what I understand, because
from the sensitive side of things, and Tom and I did talk about this, I mean, obviously you're a businessman. Yeah. I am not. I'm more of a musician, I'd say. Yeah. That's an easier way to sum me up, right?
An artist.
An artist. Well, I don't like saying artist, but I'm
great with crayons.
Let's just say I'm weak. So, as a weak man, is there a part of you that, like, thinking about that, is there a sensitive side of, like, man, that was my baby. That was my...
it hurts.
That was... I wondered if it matters.
Oh, Jesse, you got to be stone cold business killer.
Did you think he was a killer?
Screw that. On to the next one. It's dead.
It was weird because when I took my
business killer.
Well, it was weird because like when I took my exit
that does sound nice,
from that company to the private equity company that acquired it.
Yeah.
You go through all the emotions. Scared, hurt, excited. I mean, it's all of it. And I kind of made a deal because like I exited, and like 3 months later, I started to see the change. Like I started hearing, people from the company were like, "Oh my God, they're doing this with it."
Let's put doo-doo in our hummus.
Well, they were
got an idea.
They were like changing the back end of it, and I was like, "Oh God!" So I sat myself down one day. Literally, I did this, and I was like, you got to process it, man, because this it's not going to be fun. You have no idea what's going to happen to it next.
And you have to disconnect, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So when I saw someone tagged me in probably 6 months ago that the Odang website was officially shut down, I heard grumblings that they were gonna. So again, what happens is they'll wrap up the IP, right? Like the co-packers, the manufacturing, the product pipeline innovation. They'll wrap it up under a new name. So I don't know how accurate it is, but supposedly there's a celebrity chef that they're rolling like 3 brands under. So he's gonna suddenly come out with this hot new line of products. And it's going to be hummus salad dressings and hummus dips and
so it's
sauces.
the same thing. It's just under a different.
It's Jared from Subway.
Which
my God, worst pitch man ever. It's his big comeback.
I was not associated.
He's like, oh dang, I don't like kids anymore. Try this.
from the prison phone. You know what I mean?
It's terrible. It's the worst. They're like, wait, this is his comeback.
Holy shit, that's funny.
So Jesse, let's end with a small business paradox that I see, and you went through it. And,
I'm right here.
Yeah.
And so, entrepreneur, you like for yourself, like we just talked about. You started this hummus company. You started like in the local markets. You built it from nothing, right? Literally nothing. And then, but the goal, always kind of in the back of your head, is if you succeed, one day you will sell this.
Right.
And then
that was always the goal, right?
For retirement.
Or no.
it changes as you go on.
I don't know if we've ever asked him that.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
I don't know if we have. Of all the times we've had him in here, I don't know if that was the original goal.
Your goals change, though.
Right. True.
So I'll tell you this. I've learned a lot, especially coming, out of college and stuff. Like, I did the small business thing when I was young. I had a bike shop out of my mom's basement, at like 15. And then when I was 19, I started a detailing company, on the side. It was like it was spare cash for college, right? Like
Yeah.
And that actually turned into like a $300,000 business on accident. And that's when I really kind of, cut my teeth on the whole. I was working in my business. I was doing it all, and it sucked.
Yeah.
And I worked real hard.
That's a hard one.
It was hard work.
Yeah.
It was very lucrative, especially at 19. My parents were like, you're selling drugs. I'm like, no.
No.
I'm getting heat stroke.
Yeah.
I wish I was selling drugs.
Yeah, I'm working hard.
Yeah, that sucked. But it was a really good learning lesson because it led me to want to launch. I wanted to crack something big, multi-million-dollar business. And originally, it was like, I want to go in, I want to build it, and I want to sell it, right? But I had a mentor along the way that was like, don't focus on that. And he was like, build it, just build the dream. Don't stare that far down the road. You'll know the day will start to come of, what do I want to do? And that's when you start getting the knocks on the door, of like, what's going on, man? Like, and I'll never forget with Odang. We were trucking, we were cruising, and we were having fun, and we were building this thing, and we're opening Walmarts, and, it's like all things like I always dreamed of at that time, And I'm like 28, years old. I'm going to Walmart, meeting with the CEO of Walmart.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
I'm 48. I shop at Walmart.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That's a different lifestyle.
We appreciate your business.
What do I do?
But then, about 2 years later, I hear here comes VCs. Hey, what's up? What's your revenue? What are you guys doing? You gonna take on equity? You want to sell some stuff? Then a year later, it's hey, what's going on? We actually had another massive hummus company approach us about acquiring us at one point, and it was between like them and ultimately one of the VCs that ended up taking us over. And that's when I really started kind of processing like, what's the plan here? You know what I mean? Because sometimes you guys know this. Entrepreneurship is really hard. Like I don't care what business you run. It can literally be, if you take an Etsy store serious enough, there's going to be stress. You're going to get, all the way up to even the stuff that like we do, you know what I mean? You better love doing what you do. That's if you do it just for a paycheck, go get a job. It's way easier. It's way less stress. The worst thing you could do is start a business doing something you hate, because then it's a double negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's really hard to push those hard days. But if you do something you love, it's fun. Like even now, like I go to trade shows, they're all weekend. I don't, and like normally you're like, I got to work the weekend. This sucks. those I'm like, this is gonna be awesome, dude.
Yeah,
you know,
because it's stuff you like.
Yeah. The
I
trade shows are a
understand.
blast, you know.
Well, and we've talked about this before, but like, let's go back to landscaping company, right?
Yeah.
You like, let's say you're DeBerry Joe. You love,
He does. He was just in there talking about it. He loves it. He loves it. I love that guy.
Hitting your routes, you know your customers. They're happy. You keep everybody happy.
And if you don't like them, you can fire them.
You make as much money as you want to make, which is also another perk to owning a small business that is rarely discussed. Is you are in charge of how much money you make,
right?
And that's a powerful thing because then, if you want to make more money, you go. You know, who are you going to complain to? Like you make more money then.
But also, we flood the coffers and then we drain them all.
Yeah,
out. Like we flood them and then we cut it in half. All the money. Just to me and Tom.
No.
Tons of money. Just all
no
the money.
employees. We'll do everything. I'll fix it.
Every time we get money in, we drain the bank account a half, 50-50.
I'll fix the motors. You serve the coffee. So back to
I got a little chef hat on.
Back to landscaping and DeBerry Joe. So DeBerry Joe loves what he does.
He does.
Now, if
he's listening right now.
If DeBerry Joe starts growing his landscaping company, then you got crews, and then if at a certain point you got enough crews where you're in at home office, running all the crews, dealing with headaches, and then all of a sudden now that's your 9 to 5 is running all your crews. Now you're making a ton of revenue. Now you're paying a lot of people on the crew, but all of a sudden you sit back and you're like, man, I am now just sitting in my home office doing paperwork, running crews, getting like lawsuits, and my business is growing. What happened? Like I got in this to get up in the morning, go to 7-Eleven, eat my taquitos, do my routes, go home, drink beer,
listen to my favorite show.
And now I'm sitting here stressed out at a home office. It was like, this is not the job I want.
In the air conditioning, wearing khakis.
You have to understand that, right? Because like me, I like doing both, right? But like myself, my personality type, I like building. Like building is fun for me.
I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs like the building process, not so much the running, the CEO. The entrepreneur and CEO is different.
Yeah.
Completely different. And it's funny because
I like tearing things down.
One of the reasons
I like destroy. I like to destroy. You ever seen the game Rampage?
Yeah, you would be a great private equity person. That's what they do.
I want to destroy brands.
Nuke them.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because I like being a builder and a CEO until exit. And like with Odang's case, for instance, the pathway was obviously one day potentially to roll it into a big guy. Well, what happened is like in that capacity, you'll usually get a contract for 1 to 3 years to go work under someone at Mondelez or Kraft or whoever. You're corporate, baby. I mean, now you're, and that's who I fight every day. I don't want to be a corporate shill at a company with a bunch of yellow red tape, like slowing down what I can do. So that's where I tend to always take the exits a little earlier because I don't want to do that. I mean, I'll do it if I had to.
Right.
It was some insane deal. I wouldn't be happy. Because then I'm literally wearing, dress clothes to work.
Right.
And that's what I'm avoiding. That's why I don't want to do it. So, like, going back to the landscape thing, if you hate an office, there's a way to bring in a co-CEO to do both. Where it's like, dude, you run all the bullshit I don't want to run. I'll run the teams out in the, and there's a way to do, and that's where a partner is really good. Whole nother long conversation around partnerships and stuff like that. But, you do have to be careful because I've seen businesses fail, and then I've seen businesses successfully fail, which is really strange. They grow too fast, they get too big, they implode, or the owners get really upset and depressed and it happens because it's like, dude, I was really happy 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's where I wanted to stop on this journey. But they also didn't want to let someone else come in and help them carry the torch. Because, like, sometimes you build a rocket on accident. I mean, it happens all the time, And sometimes the original founders are just not good CEOs. They're ideas people.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Happened to Peloton.
Honestly, Peloton's a great.
They're a great example of, like, the guy that thought it up and connected all the parts.
Yep.
I mean, nobody else could have done it better than him. But running that company,
they ran it.
He destroyed it.
He
destroyed the company.
They grew so, and again, they did a cash grab because of their investors.
During COVID. Yeah,
they blew it up way too fast, and they had no backup plan on the back end of what happened.
They were building. I mean, they're building. They were building a factory in the States. They were like like
But
crazy.
In the
stuff.
States, that's the worst place for a factory. That's coming
exactly
from
what I
businessman
said.
Tom.
Yeah, and it was like on premium real estate in like Michigan. I want to
it's
say
so dumb,
it
dude.
was like
No.
really,
But-
yeah, really
Third
dumb.
world.
Yes,
What
yeah,
are you
yeah,
doing?
What
are
a
you doing?
turkey.
And it's fascinating because, again, like one of my favorite things to do is to study trends.
Shanghai.
Study Shanghai.
Yeah.
Road trip to Shanghai, like
Yeah.
that. They missed the mark on that. And that's what big companies do all the time. I mean, they I don't know. They have teams worth millions of dollars that are supposed to be like, catching these things. But it's funny because like in our space, all the young up and coming brands are the trendy ones. And it takes the big guys way too long, to catch up. And Peloton's a huge victim of that. They should have, they should have went out and they should have bought a cycle bar and just rebranded it. And overnight they could add a bunch. And ironically, Peloton's for home. Okay, but someone I saw in the chat real quick, someone asked, like, what about brick and mortar?
Yeah.
People are like so afraid to do brick and mortar because they think Amazon, you guys brought that up earlier, is killing everything. Amazon's declining. Like, believe it or not, like the amount of people that are trying to sell on Amazon, it's really a lot of things are reverting back 15 years ago. People miss shopping in person. People miss going to things in person.
I like shopping in person.
I do too, dude.
Yeah.
I do too.
Because the balance was thrown off, and
Way
then the
off,
pendulum always swings
We went
a little bit.
in too heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then-
100%.
And then we're coming out of like a time where we lived in the internet, and we're like, we're not ready for that yet. And like my son likes stores, and then sometimes going to like, so you're finding the balance, and you're right. It's everything's like, oh, it's rocketing all this way. Well, it comes back a little bit.
Funny too that the chat room, multiple people saying that their children enjoy shopping.
Yeah.
That's
Like
the thing,
like the whole chat room lit up with like, oh yeah.
We grew up with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, for
yeah,
us,
but these are new guys that are like they've never had it, and they're like, what the hell is this?
I would be super curious if they took like the Fashion Square Mall right here, 1990s, just redo the entire thing. Get every store like we grew up.
Small amounts of product. You don't have to go crazy.
No, but then drop kids.
Yeah, it would work.
Oh my god, I think it'd go nuts.
Well, have you been? When's the last time? Like,
Hold on.
Yeah, we got to take a break.
Okay.
We love talking to you.
Same guy, same.
Well, Jesse Wolfe, plug your social real quick.
Yeah,
just
so
so
people
everyone
can
knows.
find you.
Yeah, at real Jesse Wolfe, REAL Jesse JESSE Wolfe, WLFE.
All right, we will see you tomorrow.
Yep. Bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Jesse Wolfe is here. Jesse, let's talk about some brilliant businesses you've seen, because I saw one recently, literally a couple days ago, that my son showed me that I was like, my God, this is good. So you mentioned Savannah Bananas during the break, and of course we talked to Young Professor. He's a listener.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to hook you guys up.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm the biggest banana fan there is. Yeah.
Well,
say
he's
that.
the guy, and if there's any, like, maybe get you guys doing some cohesive.
Yeah.
What do they call it? The kids call them the collabs.
the collabs.
You guys can do. Some
Listen, I've been
collabs.
in their. That's how impressive business. I've been in their lottery for 3 years now, 4 years. Still, I just signed. Again for the. It's like. Kudos. I mean, that's an exciting, growing business.
And making it a lottery system, there's so much good marketing.
Oh, the FOMO, dude.
Which
yeah.
may have, like you said, sometimes you stumble into a rocket ship, and like you make a decision, and you're like, man, you look back, and you're like, that was the best decision you ever. Yeah. It's like, I just thought of it in 1 second.
I will say that there was, like, I wanted to go, but I wanted to go way more when it was like, oh, this is a lottery. It's really hard to get these.
Yeah. And then you get them.
And then I was like, oh, well, then obviously this is premium. Whether it's true or not,
yeah, right on.
it doesn't matter. I am the shill.
What
I'm the
happens,
guy.
right, when you finally get the tickets?
I'm such a mark for all of that.
Oh, you run to social media and you go, holy crap, I got them. I got
my
them.
tickets,
And then everybody's like, I don't know what this is. To Dan's, it must be amazing. I need to know about it. And it's just genius marketing, dude. It's so smart.
So Max told me about a new YouTuber that he likes called Mark Rober, right?
I'm familiar with Mark Rober.
And so I was like, what is it? I thought it was the standard Unspeakables, the Mr. Beast, where you and your buddies rent out a house and fill it full of Orbeez. That's the business model.
Just me and my bros and 1 billion Orbeez.
Yeah. And then
we're going to live in here. What's worse, living in a house with 1 Orby or a house with 10,000 Orbeez?
And for YouTubers, I call it the big model, which is like a 13-year-old boy living in a man's body, and he could now sleep on a trampoline.
Yeah. Touche. Yeah, that's exactly.
And then
I didn't take a shower for 1 whole year.
And then so every kid loves.
That's so funny, dude.
But every kid loves it because they're like, I want to live I want to fill my house full of Orbeez. And then they have no responsibility, even though behind the scenes these guys are
disgusting, stinky teen boys.
Listen, I know Unspeakable. You guys are on a crazy production schedule, and you're stressed out, and you're slapping your old lady around.
Yeah, you are.
And
you are.
And you took
off camera, she tells you to do something. You hold her by the throat. You like, I am unspeakable.
And
you never question my videos.
And you can't get up in the morning without a couple Percocet.
Oh yeah.
You're just like every other businessman.
Before
Anyway.
you film, you have to get a couple of Tito's to stop the shakes.
So this Mark Rober, I thought was going to be the same exact thing. I'm like, all right, how many Orbeez does this guy have? And then I started watching it, and it's like a young, cool science experiment show.
Chat room's telling me that Mark is now on the renewed Yo Gabba Gabba on Apple TV. So he would be the cool science guy.
Oh, dang, dude.
Yeah, that's a good get.
That's crazy,
That's a good get
dude.
if he's on Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah.
Listen, a giant corporation owns this guy.
Well,
Don't be fooled.
I mean,
because as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, God, he's rich.
If he's on Apple TV, I mean, basically, he did a deal, yeah.
So basically, he does science experiments, and then it's all, and it's nothing outside of the box. It's all the same stuff, Mythbusters.
It's a house full of Orbeez?
No. It's making elephant toothpaste. It's stuff the Science Center does. Obviously, it's like you doing the rubber band water or the air blaster that blasts out a tube of
a fart cannon.
A fart cannon.
Fart cannon.
And then
you got to do all this.
And then he sells a subscription where you get one of these a month.
It's called a KiwiCo Lab subscription box.
Yeah, it's Crunchy Labs, I guess, is the actual company that Mark Rober, and then so he does YouTube content. He gets people to subscribe, and then he'll play listener videos. And I'm watching this whole thing, and
I want to know what this is per
God.
month. What is this?
It's like $30.
Ooh, that's a good price point.
That's a great price point, actually.
Because we're sitting at the $2.95, and that was stupid. Who thought of that?
No, you're getting.
No, it's a good one. It's good.
You're getting something in the mail, and then it's like, oh, put together this little science experiment, put together the fart blaster, put together the.
Oh, this is cool.
But what is sell though? Because as parents, you're like, oh my God, this is educational. Of course, I'll get this for my kids.
Yeah, but it's not. It's just Chinese junk.
It's just toys.
It's just Chinese junk in a box.
I respect at least the somewhat educational piece.
I also like making the kids put together their own Chinese junk.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like, now you're the Chinese kids.
Yeah.
Here's my thoughts as a parent. I was like, well, this is 75% better than the House of Orbeez because there's nothing educational.
Oh, I go higher.
Right.
I go higher than 75.
Yeah.
Do you know those guys make me so angry? I go 90.
Yeah, because at least
tell us how you feel.
I hate those guys.
And you could tell. Now, here's the thing. I'm no fool. Like he sold. I don't know how this guy started. I don't know the story. But he for certain a giant production company or equity firm bought at least 49% of this guy's company and then said, hey, you run it, we'll give you the production crews, we'll put money into it, and then you have to turn this from a $5 million business to a $100 million business, and he's on his way.
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a former NASA engineer, popular YouTuber.
Checks out.
Funded Digital Duds, an online Halloween costume company in 2012. He sold that to a UK-based company in 2013 to get more money.
Holy cow.
In 2021, he did the Crunch Labs, like you said, and then as of 2024, there's no information, but it has been acquired.
Bingo. Bingo.
Absolutely been acquired, but it's so fresh. They don't have a number on it yet.
Because billionaires are people in charge of billions. They have teams constantly scouring the world, finding opportunities like this.
Yeah.
And then when they see it, they're like, come in, offer this guy, because we could build this. They know what the possibility is once you put the corporate machine behind it, right?
Well, I mean, and it's growth, right? I mean, that's where they come in. They think they can help is, they dump a bunch of capital behind it to expand it to, and that's the sweet spot for like private equity, VC. They come in, they try to buy something, that's doing 50 to 100 million, and their goal is to take it to $1 billion to $5 billion, and then sell it off again. You know what I mean? To one of the juggernauts. You know what I mean? And if you look, Boy, my heart broke a couple weeks ago. I love Jersey Mike's. You know what I mean? And Jersey.
I saw that, and they're keeping on Cancro. What's his name?
Yeah,
Peter Cancro.
Yeah, the founder. Yeah, if you will. So what's fascinating about a model like that
I don't know why I follow so much business news.
Yeah,
like I know a lot of business.
You're
news.
secretly into it. You even know his name too. I'm impressed.
Well, I think it's because of Tom. He's rubbing off on me. I think he's rubbing off on me.
Nice.
It bothers me. His name is not Mike.
Dude, okay, me too,
I was
man.
so mad. I was like,
me
no!
too.
I was like, just change your name to Mike.
Yeah, dude. If you're giving me $8 billion, I'm now Mike. Hello, you know what I mean?
My wife, or excuse me, my daughter thinks that was a weird Freudian slip. My daughter thinks that Danny DeVito owns Jersey Mike's.
You know what?
I'm okay with that.
I'm actually into that.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, I love J Mike's. And again, I try to always support local. It's my favorite thing to do. But what's weird about a J Mike's situation is it's someone local that owns that shop, right?
Yeah.
And that's there's maybe like a Chipotle. Chipotle is all corporate owned.
Yeah.
So like franchisee, it's still technically a small business owner, and this one over here by us is spectacular. The whole crew in there is amazing. But boy, when they sold, that was an interesting one because I'm like, I went to Blackstone, and Schwartzman and those guys. I'm like, what's the plan? So I really, just because I'm a nerd, I dug deep into what I could find. And it looks like from what I'm reading is they're trying to fuel expansion. And they're trying to basically go all overseas now with Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, there's a lot of stores too.
Yeah, a ton. And
I want to say, is it like thousands?
Thousands.
Yeah, because when I hear thousands, I go, oh, it rattles me. I'm like, oh God, I think it's like 1,300 stores or something.
It's crazy.
Big American sandwich.
Well,
your hands are so small, I can't even place it in your hand.
The French eat salad for breakfast.
What
a big American sandwich.
They put the triple meat on the they put the triple meat.
Again, that's the French.
It actually sounds better with my voice. Being
it does.
Hoarse.
It's pretty good.
Triple meat, the baguette.
So, Jesse, another thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I know you have at least a little bit more than the rest of us inside info on the show Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And when I started looking, I was like, is Shark Tank still around?
I can't keep up. Every time I tune in, it's like, I think that's 175.
Yeah, there's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, there's some old ones that you'll see it, and it's like the TV square.
Dude, I still replay on that, and I was 2015. I mean, so it's constantly replaying and rerunning.
So I found out that it is still around.
Yeah,
and
there's season 15 or something.
And then I think season 16 just ended, and I was like, and then
they're casting right now again for this next season.
But they got different sharks this year.
Yeah, well, Cuban stepped down. Yeah, they're starting. And that's
who took Cuban's place?
Who?
He's everywhere. Jelly Roll.
No, come on.
I want to start that. I want to
thank my mama. I want to thank my daddy down
That's a good
in
jelly
prison
roll.
and all my fans.
That's a good jelly roll.
I
love jelly rolls.
Love jelly roll.
Jelly
Big
rolls, southern flavored boogers.
Yeah.
So I was like, how is I can't believe the show is still pumping out episodes. Yep. Then I started thinking, I'm like,
a lot of dreamers out
and
there.
I don't know.
There are. That's not a joke.
I'm like, if I was one of the investors, I would actually, because these investors, a lot of them are billionaires, obviously, and he's like, and they have giant businesses, and I'm like, I would put money into the show to keep it going, just so it funnels me potential investments. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a huge money. One of these turns into $100 million. It's kind of like a lawsuit or whatever. It's like if the next, and this is an easy way. And then the show has created such people want to be on it for the marketing or so. Like all these people are funneling to you. Now I guess the internet and stuff, you can find them that way, but it does funnel potential businesses to invest in. Do you think there's any of that? Like they pay to keep it going, and they're
I think to your point, there's a lot of dreamers, man. People, I mean, that's something that'll never go out of style is wanting to start a business. It's the American dream.
Yeah.
The freedom, the financial freedom, the things that come along with like running a successful business if you can get it to that point. So like entrepreneurship will always be hot. Shark Tank is iconic for its platform and the way that they kind of did it. I think it's kind of like American Idol, though. I think there's just been a lot of seasons, so maybe it's okay to mix up the sharks a little bit. I don't know, But it is the problem that they're facing, which is fascinating. I always said Shark Tank hasn't done the best job with is TV in general is losing traction.
Yeah.
Right. So like they should have maybe pivoted to maybe a digital presence of some sort, maybe exclusive on Apple, or turn it into like more of a. I don't know, but it's. I'm really into media myself right now. Like I'm not in it besides just being a a semi amateur influencer there, but I always watch it because it's fascinating watching the transition from TV shows. Like classic that we grew up with, right? Family Matters and Friends and all that type of stuff. Sitcoms. To then they go to now Netflix and they drop it all at once, or they drop it in halves. And I don't know if people even have the patience anymore for sitcoms. Like, think about it. We really don't have, these. I mean, we had 2.5 million, like, monster sitcoms.
I only have enough time for one broccoli-headed teen to throw a jug of milk at an old lady.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's all I have time. And then I swipe to the next video.
Yeah, and that's it because, it's funny. I was watching this thing the other day about. Have you been on TikTok and you've seen the videos? They're movies that people chop up in like 90 sections.
Yeah.
And people are like, I don't have time to watch a movie. I only have time to sit on TikTok and scroll through all the clips of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what is happening there? You know what I mean? So, like, should they pivot to a platform like that?
I have to admit something.
Go ahead.
I watched the entire Terrifier 3 movie on TikTok in sections.
In sections, right?
In sections,
There's something
because I wanted to see the horrible scenes,
Yeah.
and I didn't. You can't find them on like regular internet.
Yeah.
But you can find everything you want on
You
TikTok.
can watch an entire, and it's funny because
terrible
you'll catch
thing. You
the
can
movie.
find boobs, everything on TikTok.
TikTok's the Wild West,
Yeah,
man.
it's wild.
And that attention. So, like, again, I'm a big person of disruption. Like, we're talking about Savannah Bananas disrupting baseball.
Yeah.
Changing the game. I think NASCAR, like, if I had the money, I would love to Savannah Bananas NASCAR. I think NASCAR.
That's pretty good.
It's genius, right?
Yeah.
I think it's due for disruption. I think it's boring, it's over bloated.
Yeah.
Golf was kind of the same way with PGA Tour. Hence why Liv kind of came through.
Yeah.
But I think you could Savannah Banana golf too.
Put a figure 8 in there.
Yeah. Why don't we get? Hold on. Why don't we get a little of that Saudi money behind the NASCAR? And what if the Sheik is driving? I'm telling you.
Hey, he gets the caution laps.
What did they say in Wicked? The best way to get people together is to have a common enemy,
Yeah,
right? You gotta have the Sheik driving the car.
They have lost a lot of that WWE. They're villains. No, I'm sure if you talk to a NASCAR guy, like, oh no, this guy's the villain. But he's like, no, I need a skull car and a shooting red smoke. You need to start. I mean, the NFL is, let's say, good at business.
Yeah.
They're this next Monday game, I think is Green Bay, and I forgot who they're playing.
Detroit.
Detroit, Green Bay, Detroit, but they part.
Good game.
It's a Simpsons game.
Dude, it's so rad. So rad.
Oh, I haven't heard about this.
Yes, this is so sick.
And so basically, they've already done all the voices for it and stuff like that. But and so it's of course an alternative feed, so you can watch the regular Monday night game, or you can watch it with your kids. I'm gonna watch it with Max and Tommy because they love the Simpsons.
I'll watch the hell out of that.
I know. They're hitting on the things we grew up with and we love.
Yeah,
and it's
getting
so
new audience, younger kids.
Dude, I watch the Manning brothers. I don't watch the regular feed. I watch them because I'm like, this is way more entertaining sometimes than just, especially if it's a game you don't really care about. I'm like, those guys are
that's what I use gambling for, Jesse.
Yeah.
The rest of us use gambling. I need to watch a regular feed because I have a lot of money running on.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, this is crazy. Yeah. Like, this is...
it's genius, right?
Yeah, it really...
Describe what they're going to do.
All right, so December 9th, Disney and the NFL will present the Simpsons Fun Day Football. Real-time animated broadcast, the Monday night game between Cincinnati and the Dallas Cowboys. We got that wrong. But
sorry. Yeah, Cincinnati, Dallas. Yeah.
So basically how it's going to roll out, it'll start at 8. The game will be set in Springfield's Adams Stadium with Bart Simpson supporting the Bengals and Homer supporting the Cowboys. Oh, Homer, you got screwed.
Yeah, hardcore.
That's lame, right? That's by design. By design, he got the Cowboys. Marge and Lisa will be there. They'll do player interviews. Maggie's going to operate the Skycam. They've done a lot of jokes for it. Both characters will participate in key plays. Voice actors, including Hank Azaria. All the actors are back, and they will have real Simpsons enthusiasts that will provide the play-by-play, so you'll have that going on at the same time, too.
Anyway, brilliant marketing.
That's
Genius.
badass.
Genius.
That's badass.
Now, you could make the argument that the NFL found themselves in a situation where they're the only live TV anybody's watching anymore. So their
sports, right?
Their marketing has blown up 100-fold, and their teams are worth billions. And now they have unlimited. They've reached the category of unlimited cash, unlimited everything.
Yeah.
They can do anything they want. There's nothing that they can't do at this point. And so it becomes a lot easier as a company to function like that when you have zero, boundaries of, hey, we'd like to do this, but it costs too much. It's like,
I mean, it's funny because football is, there was a while where, I'm a big college football guy. Like, I would always choose college over NFL usually. The last couple of years, I'm like getting big back in it, like more. I watch a lot of the NFL games again, and it's because they're fighting back to keep your attention. And I always joke, Taylor Swift. I don't know if that was just. That was very poetic, luck, if you will, for the NFL, because holy hell did that reignite.
Oh, yeah. Me and you, like, everybody was like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist thinking that Taylor Swift is getting paid by anybody. I'm like, are you joking? They're showing her all the time.
Yeah.
Like, her lawyers wouldn't let that happen. They're like, you can't make money off her like this. She's an equal.
She sells out every one of those stadiums she goes into. Come on, dude.
Follow the money.
Yeah, I guarantee you, mark my word, right? That lady will own an NFL team within the next 5 years. That's kind of what I was
thinking, dude. That is okay. Like, and maybe we talked about this like months and months ago, but I think that came up.
Yeah.
About like, what if she became an owner?
Oh, it would be stupid.
Because it takes the only part of the game that's truly male dominated. Everything, it instantly makes it better.
Oh yeah,
like flip a switch overnight, and ladies are like, we like it now.
Yeah, that team would be just. It would be a monster marketing team.
Now I could probably guess that you're going to say they would never let that happen, but I could see that.
No, the NFL and all the owners.
What's best for business?
They would love that to happen.
100%.
Now that it's hard because 32 teams, but there's a couple guys they want out of there. Well,
she could even come in as just a piece of an ownership, and it would rocket that.
Oh, the old Jimmy Buffett style.
Yeah.
Well, they just did that in Vegas with Brady.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So now, like the Jaguars, like Shad Khan is like. He's got unlimited money, so he doesn't need to sell.
I saw his ship last night, actually. I was up in Jacksonville.
No, really?
Wow.
Holy helmet, dude.
Yeah, that guy's doing
that. He has a cruise ship. That's not a boat. It is monstrous, but go ahead.
They want to boot the Jets owner out of there.
I didn't know that.
The NFL doesn't like that guy.
And they hate the Jaguars owner, right?
No, that's Shad Khan.
No. I'm talking about not Jaguars.
Raiders.
No. NFC South. Panthers.
Oh,
that guy's a psycho. The bald guy, psycho. They hate that guy.
Yeah, so there's, and like same thing they did in Washington, where they, they'll pressure you out.
Yeah.
With enough influence and money, they'll get you out. Who knows how much money?
Well, they're gonna make your life a living hell if you stay, right? They at the end of the day, you have an NFL license franchise. You know what I mean? So like, it's just it's business. Yeah.
Back to the idea you were talking about, like turning Fashion Square Mall into a '90s retro, like almost a destination to go back into time.
Yeah.
And it's like
I thought that's what Deezerland was.
That's too far back. You went too far, Deezer.
Too far.
What I'm saying.
Tom has a personal, he's got to meet Mr. Deezer at one point.
Hey, that car collection's wild. I would love to be there for that podcast.
Because I'm sure, if you got some investors together and you bought dead brands that were popular in the 90s, they would probably sell them for nothing. Like you start going back and you buy some brands
you know what I would buy?
Well, so there's some that are
Zinca for your nose.
Yeah.
Remember Zinca? I would buy Zinca.
Like you put
sharper image.
You put
KZ Toys.
I got one. Tequiza, the lime flavored salt beer. Remember Tequiza?
I mean, Spencer's Gifts is still a thing. Like, you can put, Hot Topic of Spencer's. Like, you already got the Foot Locker, like some things that are already a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, dude, you know who's killing it? Again, brilliant marketing team. Pizza Hut. You can go eat at a Pizza Hut Classic.
I've seen this.
And they are blowing. There's waiting lists Like, I mean, they're like reservations.
I saw one in Georgia. People are destination. They're going to Georgia.
But that's the one where the owners, because I guess it's a franchise.
Yeah.
Where they're like, look, if we're going to do this, we're doing it right. They did everything back, like stepping into 86.
I would drive. I would literally road trip
go with
that.
you.
Yeah, that would be a blast.
That would be fun as hell.
That is going to be a big business as well, too. And we're going to see that in Orlando for sure
100%.
because we're a tourist destination, and they're going to start opening them up here.
I'm surprised we don't even have one.
Right? The last one was hanging on right over here by the Target, and it closed. And I was like, no. And it was not one of the real OGs, but it was close enough.
So they're going to bring the roof back, I think, too, which means in a really weird, effed up way, our children's children will have weird businesses in Pizza Huts just like we do now.
Yeah,
think about that. How crazy is that? Right?
Full circle.
Yeah, it's like we have Pizza Huts now that are vape shops. In the future, there will be digital vape shops that are newer Pizza Huts.
Yeah.
Let's end with this because I thought speaking of like
I'm hungry now.
Retro
Let's order pizza.
Yeah, no, you're right.
God, sounds good. Those breadsticks, those little breadsticks, the little they cut them with the half moon cutter.
I thought about this. Roller rinks, right? We grew up with roller rinks.
Dude.
I live next to Cimarron Skateway, right?
Yep.
And every time I go in there,
Big
I
fan.
look around and I'm like, my God, this place frozen time in the 80s. And it's still the same. There's some arcades, a roller rink, a DJ.
The
like
carpet on the wall is exactly the same.
It smells like bowling alley, weirdly enough.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like,
The skates are the same. There's just a one little ticket lady, like everything's. And then I'm like,
snack bar,
and I'm
potato
like,
skates.
there's so much you could do with this and charge more. And then it dawned on me. I was like, oh, like this is if this ever turned big business, everybody would be wearing helmets. It would be different. Like, so I'm like, the only way it exists is because it's small, and then they can't because. Like the liability, if we all look at it, like my God, every kid's in here skating with no helmet, like it's an insurance nightmare.
No, just skates, barely skates.
They all don't know what they're doing.
that was like, remember the little 500 over Maitland?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I kept telling my girlfriend, I'm like, I need to buy that place. And then it went out, and I was like, no, dude. I was like, that's such a just iconic, classic, and it's funny because we all grew up with that stuff. So like we had we have the memories.
Yeah.
Now like it's like the kids now they're like, when we tell the stories, like, well, where do you even do that? It's gone. It's all gone.
And they're also all electric. And look, I'm an electric car guy.
Yeah.
But if you're going for go-karts,
gas, baby.
Yeah. You gotta have.
I need carbon monoxide poisoning.
It's gotta have exhaust right in your face.
Right in your face.
It's gotta have exhaust in your face.
It's scarier when you get battle ran by a gas
got a
cart.
piece of rust. I went to Fun and Wheels. Fun and Wheels when I was 12. I was marching in the drum line at DeLand Middle School or high school. I got a piece of rust that shot out of an exhaust pipe, embedded in my eye, and had to go to an optometrist to have it surgically removed.
Oh my God.
That's called go-karting. That's go-karting,
That
bitch.
should be a t-shirt.
Yeah.
That's go-karting,
Yeah,
bitch.
Rubbin's Racing, bitch.
Yeah.
That's how we did it.
That's how we did it.
Every cushion has a slit through
Oh,
the
yeah,
middle.
yeah.
And even on the driest day, it's still wet.
And the
It's
yellow
still wet.
foam is wet as hell, and it smells like fish. And you're going to sit on that fish, and you're going to go half.
And
whole
one
half.
go-kart out of the rest of them is faster than by 10 minutes.
All
you know?
of them.
All of them.
And if you get in the Jeff Gordon car, I will scream gay. I'll scream gay.
Everything's rusty.
Villain stories.
Yeah. You're looking around and you're like, everyone's on crack. Anyway.
Why is everyone so skinny here? Because they're on drugs.
Is this Ozempic? No,
no, it's not.
son. That was Ozempic in the 90s.
Street Ozempic.
Yeah,
Jesse, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
We love you, buddy.
love you guys too.
We will be right back. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
We're going to do some Weird Job Wednesday. Let's hit it.
Do you want the, well, yeah, I guess I should probably do this one. I was going to play I like the funnier one that I've been sort of neglecting this one. You know what, if you can indulge me for a second.
Yeah.
Think of something that you would like to plug, and then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to try and find a little bit better Weird Job song, a funnier one.
Well, I'll plug Modern Plumbing Industries, modernpi.com. Mention Tom and Dan, get 10% off any service. And you want a really good local company that's family owned and has been in Central Florida since 1975. Modern Plumbing's it.
That's the one.
They can handle any plumbing issue that you have.
All right, let's do something that we've neglected.
Working jobs, big fat slobs, working the job, slobs with jobs, sloppy jobs, some are blood with jobs, disguised as slobs.
Why'd you pick this one? You picked up the most awkward one. This has nothing to do with you guys.
That's the one I like. I like the one that
I got a complex now already.
Yeah, but they know what the hell.
Big, fat, disgusting
No.
slob.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
No.
Big, fat, here the slob.
I
Drops in the slobs,
apologize.
extra
No. I don't
slob.
even know why Fat Slobs is in the song. It's
I don't
just
either.
that
I don't
weird
either.
jobs, but then Daniel's fixated on it, and then it's
I am
awkward
obsessed with Jelly Roll.
when we have
I'm
a
obsessed with him.
That's fair.
I'm obsessed with him, and he eats his boogers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
we
Oh
saw
my
that.
god. Oh my god. He eats his boogers.
Adam and Wayne are on the couch with us, and
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Just give me a blast.
so they have a show called Fish and Brits, correct?
That's right. Yep.
So tell me about Fish and Brits.
How, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, you're the talker.
I guess I am the
Yeah,
talker.
come
So,
on.
Fish and Brits came about. We talk about it a bit on. We've got one season out.
Yeah.
Of a couple of episodes.
Hold on, did you guys have British accents when you walked
We
in?
did. Yes, we did.
I thought you just started faking it right now. I was like, oh my god.
We turn on when we get into work mode. a little
Well,
bit
you
more.
see, Thomas, what actually happened.
Well then, pip,
we
cheerio.
are part of the. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we cover that on our first episode too, about how our accents and our dialects work in this country, because I moved here in 1990, so I've been here quite a while. So I start to talk like this. It depends on the situation.
Yeah.
But once I start talking about English things, this starts happening, and I start sounding very English. And Adam has been here a couple of years also, so we are both originally from England.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the concept came from. We
started off in the pub, didn't we? As
Yeah,
all good
yeah,
ideas
yeah.
start.
Yeah, we were in the pub.
Well, it was just after Christmas last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've got no time around Christmas because we're doing everything in the world elsewhere.
Yeah.
We have our holiday family get together with both our families at the pub in January. And during that, my son, he was 2 at the time, he's 3 now. We'd been doing some nursery rhymes with him during the day. And my wife and I had started singing The Wheels on the Bus. And it got to the last line, and we both sung something completely different. And that started, and I said to you that night, I'm like, what the hell's this?
Yeah, he said,
that they-
I'll sing it, you finish it. So I finished it the way he finished it, and my wife goes, wait, that's not right. So our American wives are like, wait, it ends like this. And we're like, yeah, no, it ends like this.
we got it proper. We invented the
Hold on,
language.
how does it end?
That's like a great British joke. Right? I was trying to think. I was trying to do it like wheels on the bus.
All together
yeah,
now.
yeah.
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all day long. All day long.
Like
all
all
day
over
long.
town.
All day long.
All day long. See, that's the argument. That's how it started.
That's how it started. That's
All
literally
through-
how it went.
how this
all through
podcast
the town.
started.
You got to go all through the town.
Yeah. So
All day long.
So all day
He's a
long
workaholic.
is British.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all over town is America.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Oliver Town is British.
No, all over town.
Hey,
Yeah, Paperboy.
It's a weird thing because it really has nothing. You think the British version would be like, and fish and chips.
Yeah, fish and chips. Perfect.
That's the
Yeah.
second verse. Yeah.
Or
I feel like your version of the
Universal
wheels of the bus.
healthcare.
The wheels of the bus go round and round. Fish and chips. I feel like that's a great version.
The American version is there's a shooter on the bus.
Everyone on the bus, they have a gun. Everyone has a gun.
Or in England, it would be a knife. So
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Stab.
yes. The man on the bus is screaming about how he can make the best curry, and he just cut another man's head off. Europe goes hard. Europe goes real hard. You
We
guys
do,
do like
we do. That's why we
beheadings. They do. Like you'll go to Paris, and it'll be like Paris beheading. I'm like, Europe goes harder than we do.
Yeah.
So is this the whole concept? Is that there's are like different tropes that we all know of in American culture that differs from British culture, and so you guys talk about that?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
pretty much.
We got to a point where we realized actually we should really start to remember and keep track of these things that connected us to our culture back in England, little things like that. And we found that Americans found we were very funny because of the strange things that we did. Well, you, not me. You're the funny man. That's why I brought you on. But yeah, these little comparisons, these oddities, these little culture shocks that we obviously found when we moved over here. People are interested in for whatever reasons, and it
Oh
turned
my
out to be
God!
something
I
that's
just
kind of
realized we're talking to British Tom and Dave.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm Daniel.
Look at who's looking at hats?
We got hats on. Wait, I got to straighten the brim. Hold on.
And what?
Hold on, curve mine for you.
What?
we're opposite now.
Are you Wayne
Anything
or
for
Adam?
you.
I'm Adam.
Adam. When Adam was an unintentional D-head, what he was like, then I realized, oh my God, it's the British Tom Mom
That's
and
it.
Dad.
Yeah. What would you call it? You would be accidental prick.
Accidental Prick.
Accidental
Yes.
prick.
That's the name of our next album.
Oh, I love that.
Anyway, so and then you guys started the show. Now, this the legitimate question because I've talked to Dan Cummins about this. When you have a particular,
He sent us a Christmas card, and he got his to us before we got ours to his, so he wins.
yeah.
That's how it works.
Well,
Christmas.
he's rich.
Yeah, he is rich.
He got a bigger business. He got more
Okay.
employees.
I'm
He
gonna
had
tell
someone
you,
send it.
I've been wanting to say this, and I'm going to say it because today I've been like getting things off my chest. This is the second time I've done this. Dan Cummins' Christmas card is beautiful. It's gold inlay. It's got the little piece of paper inside when you take out the card. Our Christmas card is from 2022, and Tom is having me use a red Sharpie to.
Well, I don't know why
mark-
Tony put that in there. Why did he hide a small 2022?
It's the tiniest little yellow 2022, and I'm taking a red Sharpie and dotting over it like you would do your rims if you were in a car club. I'm just using a
He's
black
standing out
Sharpie.
his
Yeah,
cheeks.
yeah. I
Okay,
got it.
well, hold on, show it to our guests because
in
no
there.
one can even see it. And I was like, why the hell did he put that in there? And I just talked good about Tony, and he hit a little 2022, and I know when he did it, he's like, this will screw him over in a couple of years.
They're going to have to rebrand
Oh,
everything.
yep.
Yeah, but
Yep,
yeah,
no,
but,
you.
Yeah, but I told Daniel, I was like, no one will even see that.
This is a disgrace in the podcasting business. My God.
And I did the thing that, like, when Santa's like yelling and screaming, I did the thing that an elf that doesn't necessarily agree with him does. I was like, because he was like, no one will ever see that. Doesn't even matter. And I was like, okay, sir. I do think that maybe ordering new ones would be a good idea. Oh, just use a red Sharpie. Ho, ho, ho. And I'm like, yes, sir. Back to the toys, sir.
May have a lump of coal on fire at the same time. Yeah.
I'm more of a Scrooge. I have a pile of bills. I'm using an ink pen to write something. Anyway, so back to my point is that when you have like a show that has a particular theme, then like I would worry about running out of like if you're highlighting differences between the British and American culture, like you look further, you're like one day we're gonna run out, or it's like, or you're gonna be scraping the bottom, and like Dan Cummins when I was like, there's so many, like there's a lot of different like crazy conspiracy theories and monster stories, but there is a finite amount where you start to having to search for them.
Yeah, and I think he's even expressed some of that struggle on this
then
show.
you gotta
where
get a
he's
team.
like, yeah, then next thing you know, you're doing, instead of just doing cryptids, you have to do like nuclear war, and that's, how does that affect your audience when you're switching up the topics?
Luckily, we're finding that Americans and English constantly weird, so there's
There's
always something to.
You know what I mean?
But it's a fair point. In our first season, we had a special topic of the week, which was a little bit free form. We were just something we'd want to chat about. Season 2, which drops in February.
Nice.
We're having a specific theme of the week. So we'll have your.
Are we?
You'll have your. Yes, I told you in the pub. So we'll have the sports week, the television week.
They
things
are
like that
British
that
Tom and Dan. I like watching. I just like watching.
This guy's got a beard and a flat brim hat. How weird is that? I'm telling you.
And then Adam didn't tell Wayne what he was doing, and then Wayne was like, "We're doing that."
Oh,
And then,
no, that's our entire dynamic.
every
Yeah,
show.
hey, that's what
You
we
can't
do.
tell them; they'll screw it up.
I got
Yeah,
the
yeah.
podcast together. I got in touch with our producer Owen and got the website started before I'd even told him that we were doing it.
Yeah. It started as when we got home from the pub.
Yeah.
I went home and kept drinking, and I was like, oh, man, that'd be a great idea.
Well, that's
if we
what
did
Daniel loves to do.
Yeah. And so then I came up with the
exactly
fish and
what I
grits, and I was like, and so I messaged her.
Yeah,
This is going to
I'm
be
good for a
fish
pun
and
and
Brits.
some drinking.
And I come up with our little fish and Brits, complete rip off of Ballroom Blitz. I'm like, oh, this is great because I'm drunk.
Yeah.
And so then literally the next day he goes, right, here's the website. We've got the producer Owen's coming. I go, what are you talking about?
It's
Next
just-
thing we're on our way,
it's
and that's
just so much
literally how our
easier to
life
get things
is.
done.
Our life is like this.
Yeah.
And then the show is like this. So it's just a continuation of what my day is.
Yeah.
Hanging with this idiot.
That's what we do.
Yeah,
That's pretty close.
It's
I
just
like
so
it.
much easier. I'm definitely the husband.
Yeah.
What are some surprising things that you found out from doing this show? Because I'm sure there's something you're like, oh, I didn't know about this. This is bizarre.
Dialects is something that a lot of people bring up, the accent. People in America are amazed at how many accents there are in England versus America. There's probably, we haven't counted because we're not that boring, there's probably there's more dialects in the UK than there are in America total.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can go to a different town, a different side of the street even, and there'll be a slightly different
And
dialect.
I like that you guys look down on the people that have the poor accent.
Oh yes,
I love that. They're
I
like,
look up
oh yeah,
because
he's
I've got
got
the
one of
poor
those,
accent.
like a Cockney or something.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, that guy's a chimney sweep. He's a piece of crap.
Dick Van Dyke. Who's that?
Yeah. I like that you guys are like, no. Listen to the way he talks. He's uncultured swine.
Okay, well, let's talk about America's. We got Southern Redneck,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one.
Yep.
Then you got like Fargo. I'll put that in the middle,
Yeah.
north of
Yep.
the country, whatever. And then there's regular, which
There's
is all the
regular.
East Coast,
Yep.
with a like a little bit of Fargo.
Team broccoli.
Then
There's Taco Bell.
yeah, that's in Texas. Yeah.
And you've got your Valley Girl. You've got your New Yorker on both sides.
And
Oh,
so-
my
So
favorite
what's
new
that,
porn
6?
category is Black Valley Girl.
What the hell is that?
Holy smokes. I didn't even know that existed. Dude, Black Valley Girl?
Why would you mention that?
Because he said Valley Girl. It's really simple. It's a simple thing.
Well, that's a topic for an episode.
Yeah, write down Valley Girls versus Black Valley Girls. Oh, those videos are great.
So in the UK, though, I know like you guys are talking regular British.
Yeah, regular British.
And then there's a Cockney more of I call it redneck British. It's like out in the country,
Yeah.
you get your accent gets
Yeah,
more.
is that
Yeah, pretty much. You're the posh. You're the posh.
I'm south. You're north. You're
Because
Liverpool.
I'm from
I'm
Liverpool,
Cambridgeshire.
so my accent's not even what my accent really is.
Get angry and do it. Go on.
I'll start talking to you like that. You know what I mean? Like, can you understand what I'm saying to you, Tom?
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
it's fast.
Okay.
He's a beetle.
I am a beetle.
Yeah, and then I'm more Cambridgeshire down south. But no, if you're looking for I think we've done that. Or maybe we've talked about it. What would the redneck in England be?
Yeah.
And I think we got into a debate about it. I'd put Essex.
Yeah, they're
Down
sort of like
south.
this down south. They sort of like that, London.
No, that's
Oh,
London.
okay.
That's
Oh,
not
that's
Essex.
good.
Yeah, but even further south.
Well, further south.
I can't do it that good.
The further south you get, the posher you get. Because
Yeah,
you
but
get down to Sussex, and
it's
then
South
you're.
London, Essex.
Oh, Essex. There she is.
Essex. How
Yeah,
you
that's
doing? All right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
How
that
are
one's
ya?
that one.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a person that wants to do drugs with me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Come on then, Danny. Let's go round the
Yeah,
corner.
it sounds like we're gonna hit this, and we're wearing tracksuits.
Oh,
Of
yes.
course.
Yeah.
Pink proper shell suits with the little white stripes.
Yeah,
down
white
the
stripes.
side.
Yeah. I'm into
That's the
all
one.
of this.
You're
Let's-
into that?
Yeah, let's just be British scum.
The name's usually Sharon.
That's our job.
All right. So what's the like Snatch, Brad Pitt, gypsy British that he talks about? I don't even know what that is. I don't know you guys say that.
Hey,
anymore.
did you guys read? Did you guys read what he did on that plane?
No. I don't know what happened. What happened? I just
Not
saw-
as good as Black Valley Girls,
Right.
but it's very worth reading.
Yeah. But
I mean that your sort of your lock, stock, and your snatch. That's very much a London base. That's your hard East End London.
Okay.
There's actually a soap opera called EastEnders that deals with that specific type of person and dialect there. But yeah, that's what that would
and
be.
there's technically speaking the English language in just such a slang
I like it.
that it's turned into its own language almost, but
Yeah.
it technically its base is English.
Yes, we invented it so we can mess with it. That's the-
Mess everybody up. Cockney rhyming, that whole
Actually,
thing.
I like that.
We did
Yeah.
a thing on the podcast and I did through me. I was like, I have no idea what the hell that means, and I'm from England.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Cockney rhyming slang. That one's a mess. But,
Yeah.
Have you, I'm curious to like your audience because nowadays when you do a podcast, you can see where people download it from. And do you see a lot of English and British downloads, or is it primarily people that can relate to you guys that have moved here, are kind of expats from Britain, and then now they you know, because they're like you guys, like, hey, I used to live in the UK, now I live in
want a
America.
connection.
Yeah, and yeah.
We get that a lot with like Orlando people that moved away. And
Yeah.
they're like, well, we still love the city. We like to be connected through you guys.
I mean, I listen to British radio in the morning in my car.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Very
no.
And I listen to you guys. So
There you go.
Right on.
But no, I'm the computer numbers person on that one, and we've seen it's about a 40-60 split, 60% from America, a lot from Florida, but we're about 34 states into all 50 states right now. But they've gone as far. All the UK, we've got listeners all through there. As far as we've got some in Australia. That
Jamaica was the one. I was like, what?
Jamaica followed us for a little while, but then you realize that Jamaica has a large English expat community who moved over there, so it's their sort of thing.
And also, it's just some guy from Florida on vacation.
No, you say that.
I'm like, oh, there's a listener in Iraq, and then I'm like, oh, it's just some military guy from Florida.
It suddenly popped up in Portugal one day. I'm like, mate, we've got someone in Portugal. Turns out it was my sister on holiday.
How's he understand us? Oh, it's
We did have one download years ago. One. from North Korea.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that person's dead.
Yeah, they're done.
Right? They're dead. Probably. We know they're dead.
So now, like, when it comes to turning this into a business, because we'll kind of, since this is a weird job.
They sound better than we do just by jump.
No, yeah.
I mean, put a couple pairs of glasses on them and it's a done deal.
So what's the plan moving forward? I'm always curious with like, like how many episodes in are you?
Season 1 was 10 episodes.
Okay.
We did a live hurricane episode where we broadcast from each other's houses on the old COVID style.
And that was him calling me in the morning going, is your laptop charged? I go, yeah. He goes, call in. I go, what for what? Let's go. We did like an hour and a half. I'm like, what are we doing?
And then
we sound awful. We have no microphones. What are we doing? We're having a laugh. It's all about having a laugh and just going for it.
And then tomorrow we've got our Christmas episode that we're looking forward to recording. We're actually recording that tomorrow. But we work in a lot of the entertainment fields here in Orlando. We call them the fairgrounds on the show. Read between the lines on that one, if you will. But this is something that we get to do that is just for us. This is something that we can control, we can have fun with, and put it out there. We put it out there in the hopes that 1 or 2 people would listen at the start, and we just have a chat. We've got a great number of audience members.
Yeah, it went
now.
mental. We were like, what is happening? What is going on here?
Yeah.
And he messaged me, mate, downloads and blah, blah, blah. These numbers. I'm going, what? Why do people want to listen to us?
We
just
thought we'd be in the
off?
tens. We've got the thousands going up there.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Just crazy.
So we're still very much the new kids. We're still learning. We've had a couple of sponsors in the last season, which was great. They approached us as well, and we're starting that up again with the second season to get some folks involved. Mainly your British companies. A great company up in New York sponsored us for the first season, who actually bake all their own British goods.
Oh, cool.
Because we do an 11s segment on the show where we talk about food and drink and all that sort of thing. Which, if we do,
do you want to do an
do have a
11s
little
with us?
11s.
No,
We brought some 11s.
We
It might
brought
make you
little
feel better.
something.
I hope it's that purple concentrate that you guys love.
Oh, Ribena.
Ribena.
Yeah. Have you
All right.
ever had that?
It's the adult version of
Ribena's great.
Ribena.
Oh.
You know what I drink? I don't even dilute it. I just drink the syrup.
Oh, that's mental.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so good.
And by the way,
Yeah, strong. It'll get me going.
a British gun is a knife.
Daniel, this for you.
What
For
is
you,
this?
there
What
you
is
go.
this?
This is one of our favorite breweries. This is Samuel Smith's.
Oh, I love Samuel Smith.
You love Samuel Smith?
Yes.
One of my favorite pubs in London was the Samuel Smith's pub, and so I grew up in it from there.
Well, you're getting a different. Well, let me ask you: Are you getting a different Samuel Smith's than I am here?
No, Samuel Smith's brews exclusively in Tadcaster in Yorkshire, and they do export themselves.
Glad to ask. Glad I asked.
Yeah, everything that you'll drink, it's like a Guinness that comes from St. James's Gate. It's only from there.
Oh my God, this
But-
smells like straight candy.
This one,
This is
Smells
candy.
like a candy bar.
You're welcome.
this is our organic as if I work for them. This is the organic chocolate stout.
Well,
This
it smells
one,
like a Baby Ruth, like
Oh, yeah.
straight up candy bar.
well, cheers, lads.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Congaloosh.
Cheers.
But it's
Oh God, that's good.
right. That's a perfect one. That's a year round.
And
That's
your
not
voice came
even,
back.
It's not even
Well, it's,
a Christmas
coated.
special
It's,
one.
It's perfectly coated.
And we
now.
do like to provide a little something to munch upon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as we are doing our Christmas special tomorrow, we thought we'd bring you some mince pies.
Oh,
The real deal.
There you go, the real deal.
Has this got meat in it?
No, it used to originally, but the recipe was changed to be only fruit.
I might be British
There you
because
go.
my daughter loves mince pies.
Oh, there you go.
And she forces us to buy them for Santa Claus every year because
done.
apparently he doesn't like cookies. He likes mince pies.
Oh, there you go.
He
Yeah.
does. He loves
the way
them.
to do it. But
Father
yeah,
Christmas. Or...
I like how the stereotype that
do you eat
that
this?
British food is bland. I'm drinking chocolate beer and pie. What the hell? Delicious.
We go on rants about British food a lot during the show. I am a big supporter of British food, and with that, people saying that it's bland, that it's hard.
not good.
We just grow good ingredients that don't have to have much added into them. And that goes for the beer, that goes for the food, that goes for a lot of the culinary things in England.
That's delicious.
Right? So there you go. Cheers. Happy
Yeah,
Christmas.
That's
you guys.
awesome, man. And do you think there are?
Oh yeah, my wife is correct. It was Peppa Pig.
It's
That
Hi,
taught us.
Andrea.
Peppa Pig.
Jen says hi.
Sorry, I'm about to die here. It was Peppa Pig that taught us about mince pies.
You know what? We have a lot of listeners that are British because especially back before podcasting, they would come into Central Florida and hear us on the radio.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then from there
100%.
follows our careers. And I imagine there are a lot of expats from Britain in Central Florida because they got used to coming over here on holiday or whatever, and then they just end up living in Florida.
Yeah, they'll buy a house and they'll make it the rental house. So when they go back to England,
that's our whole area, the Davenport area and that Four Corners area. There's a huge amount of British expats there who bought those vacation houses.
That's the only reason I'm into the EPL is because of a monster listener that Tony would fly because he would only vacation in 2 spots, Orlando and Spain. Yep. And that sounds British, right? And so Orlando has dried up because he says Spain is cheaper and nicer. And can't argue with that, but he's the reason I'm an Arsenal supporter. He just started sending me shirts.
Oh, good man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that one.
Calm down.
Here's a shirt. I have, I don't know, maybe 17 different Arsenal. I have goalie. I was in the member of the club.
Yeah.
Where you used to be able to watch Arsenal on your computer every game. You would subscribe. But wait, I'm talking 20 years ago. You could watch it. You can't really do that now.
My son for football, not soccer, I call it football, at a daycare, I bought him the old 1990s away kit, the blue and yellow Arsenal one. And that's what he plays soccer in at daycare.
I want a JVC one. I want an old school JVC.
That's it. I had a
Arsenal
Bergkamp
kit.
one. Bergkamp was my favorite player. I had a JVC with Bergkamp on the back. I don't know where that is.
Yeah, I was a Terry Henry guy.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
And old Van Persie. He broke my heart. Robin Van Persie broke my heart.
Happens.
Let me ask you the dumbest question I've ever asked.
Yes.
Yes.
You do that.
I'll take another sip.
Yeah, what is the thing you called it? 11?
11.
Yeah, we do dumbest question in the world.
Every 4th of July, I'm on Facebook scrolling, and then I see the inevitable meme of something like, take that, Britain. We celebrate the day we beat you, whatever, some shot at Britain of us beating.
Right.
And then I imagine that if I'm British, I would just quit bringing it up. And I'm like, quit bringing it up.
Shut up.
Yeah. It's like enough time has passed. Do you guys think like that?
I think more the British are now like, no, you're good. You're
how
on
about
your
it?
own in this one.
How about it?
There's the old meme that used to
You're
go
welcome
around.
that we didn't just stick around.
Queen Elizabeth was the meme that said, you're welcome, ungrateful colonials. That's what I used to have on there. I'd get that one sent to me all the time. No, I think, what do you think? This is me throwing it to you.
Yeah, same. Whatever. Just I'm fine with it all. Just have at it. Good luck.
I did enjoy this year, though, that the British election for a prime minister was on July 4th, and the American election for a president was on November 5th. So we're both trying to get rid of each other's countries.
I liked it better when you had the British Trump, whatever the hell that guy's name was.
Oh, Boris.
I was like, they got it too high. I laughed, and then now you're
You loved him because he was having COVID parties. And I was like, yeah.
I was like, I got the British Trumps.
This guy F's.
Adam, Wayne, thanks so much for coming by. Again,
you're so welcome, guys.
Fish and Brits is the podcast, and it can be found anywhere podcasts are downloaded.
Anywhere podcasts and fishandbrits.com. The N is in the middle as opposed to and. fishandbrits.com.
Okay, awesome. And hopefully you guys will come back.
Absolutely.
And, we'll do
anytime.
another
Thanks for
thing.
having us.
Thank you very much.
Anytime. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Oh, and love you too, buddy.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.